Secretariat, kindly assign one member to take the minutes through laptop as secondary to the recording so we can have ready reference in case we need to go back to some points during the discussion.
Noted po, Asek.
Contact Director Resty, tell him to be here na. Yung mga provisional members who are present, alternate provisional. Hindi tayo pwedeng hindi magka-quorum today.
Sir Jonathan, kay Director Pitaldo.
Were they informed that we are at the BCD? Baka nag-attend na sila ng ASEAN program sa Bulwagan, ha?
Yes po, nag-chat naman po ako sa Viber GC po yesterday po.
We're not yet in session, no? Ilan ang ating attendees na prospective bidders, Secretariat? Ayan. Yes. Daanan mo na lang mamaya. Secretariat, I think we already have a quorum, so we can start.
Asek. We start na ba? So good morning po everyone. Welcome to the pre-bid conference, supply delivery, installation, testing, training, and maintenance of Department of Education, Central Office, Network Rehabilitation Project 2022. Before we start, may we start first with a short prayer. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in a meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the procurement of our agenda for today, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name, then, amen. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. For the members of the Bids and Awards Committee 2, we have our chairperson, ASEC Francis Cesar B. Biringas. Good morning po.
Present.
For our regular member, we have Director STC Osias. Good morning po. For our provisional members, we have Director Ferdinand B. Pitagan. Good morning po. And we have our alternate provisional member, Mr. Gudencio Luis N. Serrano. Good morning. For our technical working group present here, we have Ms. May L. Borjal. Good morning po. Mr. Edwardson Ortillo. Mr. Marvin De La Cruz. Mr. Mark Ray Conde. And Mr. Ray Valenzuela. Also, we have here our and Mr. Gilbert Manokdok po, one of technical working group din po. Then from our end user representative, we have Mr. Sean Brocal. Good morning po. And from our observer, we have Miss from the Office of the Governance and Field Operation, Attorney Johnson Alarcio. Good morning po. And also from the back secretariat present here, we have our Supervising Administrative Officer, Mr. James Ronald Ibiernas, Ms. Jelly Anteris Joso, Ms. Geraldine Combali, sir, Mr. Joshua Mercado, Mr. Roderin Balia, Mr. Christopher Ludovice, and I am Teo Jeremiah Baguio. From our prospective bidders po, we have 7 prospective bidders. For the bidders po, if I call your company, please introduce your name of representative na lang po, approach na lang po the mic. First, we have SMS Global Technologies Inc.
Good morning. I'm Mar Vega from SMS Global Technologies Inc.
Sama mo kami lahat.
And our team as well, our pre-sales and PM and Emplem.
Hindi, ikaw nga.
Okay, yun lang. Thank
Okay.
you.
Then, second po is NSPH Inc.
Hello, I'm Ed Navoa from NSPH Inc. and I'm with Mr. Andrian Reylo, our solution architect. Thank you.
Third is we have Pronet Systems Integrated Network Sol Inc.
Good morning and peace lang po. With me po is Mr. Royce Incon and Rafael Dawson.
Ano to? Multiple. Third po is, fourth po is Multifold Links Inc.
Yes, good morning. I'm Penelope Cecilio and with me is Alexis Cabornay for Multifold Links Inc.
Okay po. Then, fifth po is ITSI.
Good morning po. I'm Mona Miranda from ITSI.
Sixth po is PLDT Inc.
Hi, good morning. I'm Rosana D. PLDT with Case Building. Thank you.
And last po is Fiber Home.
Hello, I'm Dee from Fiber Home. We are with SMS Global Technologies.
That would be all po, Madam Chair.
Secretariat, do we have a wireless microphone for later on for the open forum? Meron?
None po, Madam Chair. Ginagamit daw po dun sa Bulwagan today.
So sisigaw na lang tayo, ganun. Yeah. Anyway, if sa open forum yung mga may questions who are seated in the second row, you can just approach any of the available microphones later. Thank you. Who is the assigned minute taker?
Miss Geraldine Combali.
Paki-acknowledge din siya, no?
Yes.
Okay. So, Secretariat, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Madam Chair.
So if we have a quorum already, then we are ready to transact business. This is the pre-bid conference for the project supply, delivery, installation, testing, training, and maintenance of the Department of Education Central Office Network Rehabilitation Project for 2022. So welcome to our visitors, our prospective bidders, and we shall now in the hall with us are the members of the TWG and the representatives of the end user to fully discuss with you the details of this project. So Secretariat, we may proceed.
Madam Chair, also po pala joining us virtually po, one of the technical working group, Mr. Ryan Lee Rehensha.
Okay. Did we invite observers to this pre-bid conference at Secretariat?
Yes po, Madam Chair.
And who are they?
Commission on Audit, NAMFREL, ANSEA Foundation, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Government Watch.
Yeah, did we send emails of invites to this?
Yes po, dated August 2, 2023.
And we get a reply from them, any of this?
None po, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, Secretariat, we can now start. Please proceed to our agenda.
Noted, Madam Chair. Yes po. For the pre-bid conference, the pre-bid conference is the initial forum where the procuring entities, representatives, and the prospective bidders discuss the different aspects of the procurement at hand. Its main purpose is to clarify and address every prospective bidder's question on different aspects of procurement as contained in the bidding documents. This way, bidders will fully understand the requirements. Hence, they will be adequately aided in coming up with a responsive bid. Note that any statement issued during the conference shall not be binding or shall not modify the terms in the bidding documents unless the same is specifically identified in writing as an amendment and issued through supplemental bid bulletin. For the observers, we invited through letters dated August 2, 2023, COA, NAMFREL, ANSEA Foundation, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Government Watch. For the project information, we have the end user or PMO, Information and Communications Technology Service, Technology Infrastructure Division or ICT STID. For the source of fund is the CP 2022 Capital Outlay Continuing Fund. The date of advertisement and posting of invitation to bid August 2, 2023 through PhilJEP's DepEd website, DepEd Facebook, and DepEd Bulletin Board. For the approved budget for the contract, we have the description, supply, delivery, installation, testing, training, and maintenance of Department of Education, Central Office Network Rehabilitation Project 2022. For the items, we have first, structured cabling, fiber and copper, installation, configuration, and user training for network active components and network and guest management. Third, installation, configuration, and user training for cybersecurity monitoring system. Next is data center upgrade, installation, configuration, and user training for an unified IP telephone system. Installation, configuration, and user training for UPS and backup power system, and last, installation, configuration, and user training for IP-based unified paging system. For the approved budget for the contract, or ABC, is 189,722,575.1. For the start of issuance of the bidding documents last August 2, 2023, for the cost of the bidding documents is 50,000. For the bidding documents may be downloaded at the following websites. Notices that philjobs.gov.ph and deped.gov.ph. For the number of prospective bidders that purchased the bidding documents as of today, August 9, 2023 at 8 a.m. 0, the pre-bid conference is open to all interested parties who have or have not bought the bidding documents. First, we have here the invitation to bid and instructions to bidders. The prospective bidders should have completely or within a period of 5 years immediately preceding the deadline for the submission of bids, single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid and the value of which adjusted if necessary by the bidder to current prices using the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA Consumer Price Index must be at least 50% of the ABC of the lots bid for. As part of the bidding documents, instruction to bidders, BDS ITB Clause 5. For this purpose, contracts similar to the projects shall be letter A, supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of network infrastructure that includes structured cabling and network active components, and completed within 5 years immediately prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For BDS ITB Clause 7, subcontracting is not allowed. For ITB Clause 9, request for clarification for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The procuring entity's address is ASEC Francis Cesar B. Bringas, Bids and Awards Committee 2 or BAC 2, care of Procurement Management Service, BAC Secretariat Division, room M511, 5th floor, Mabini Building, DepEd Central Office, Complex Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, with the telephone numbers 8636-6542 or 8633-9343, with the email address of depedcentral.bacsecretariat@deped.gov.ph. Consistent with Section 22.5.3 of the revised IRR of RA 9184, posting on the PhilJEPS and the procuring entity's website of any supplemental or bid bulletin shall be considered sufficient notice to all bidders or parties concerned. For ITB Clause 12, the price of the goods shall be quoted DepEd Central Office or the applicable international commercial terms, Incoterms, for this project. Bids prices should be written in 2 decimal places only. The bid prices that are written in more than 2 decimal places shall be rounded off. Results of the bid evaluation that will exceed the ABC shall be a ground for rejection of the bids. For ITB Clause 14.1, the bid security shall be in form of the bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. For the cost breakdown of the approved budget contract, 189,722,575.1 will the if you will use the bid security is in cash, cashier's manager's check, bank draft guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit. It must be 2% of the ABC amounting 3,794,451.50. And if you are opt to use the bid security is in surety bond, it should be 5% of the ABC amounting 9,486,128,000.75. For ITB Clause 14.2, the bid securities other than the bid securing declaration shall be turned over to the DepEd Cash Division for custody. The bid securing declaration shall be turned over to the BAC Secretariat. The bid security shall not contain any deletion, crossing out, expunction, or any form of correction. Otherwise, DepEd may reject such security if any such intercalation or alteration affects any material, information, or feature of the document. For ITB Clause 15, prospective bidders shall enclose their original eligibility and technical documents in sealed envelope marked original, technical component, and the original of their financial component in another sealed envelope marked original, financial component. In addition, the bidders shall submit a copy of each of the technical component and the financial component of their bids in separate envelopes respectively. Then the bidders shall seal and mark the original and the copies of their bids. Any discrepancy between the hard or paper copies and the copies contained and as presented in the USB flash drive shall be ground for disqualification. Original copies of Class A eligibility legal documents such as SEC, DTI, or the CDA registration certificate and the mayor's permit may not be submitted on the date and the time of the bid submission. However, the bidder must be able to present such original copies during post-qualification on demand by the BAC or its authorized representative for validation. So ITB Clause 15 still continue. This slide illustrates on how you will seal and mark your envelopes. Soft copy in Microsoft Excel format of the price schedule is requested to be submitted in flash drive or any external drive together with the financial proposal. Post-qualification documents may be submitted during the bidding, but this does not disqualify bidders who will not submit post-qualification documents during bid submission. Note, each bidder shall submit 3 paper copies, 1 original and 2 copies of its bid and 2 USB flash drive electronic copies, 1 technical component and 1 financial component. The e-copy of the price schedule must be in the form of Excel and PDF. Unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked as required in the bidding documents shall be accepted, provided that the bidder is or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The BAC shall assume no responsibility for the misplacement of the contents of the improperly sealed and marked bid or if it's premature opening. Online submission is not allowed. Under ITB Clause 19.5, showing on the screen is on how you compute your NFCC. current assets minus current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portion of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the lot or aggregate of lots bid for. In case of a joint venture, the NFCC shall be computed based on the audited financial statements of all of the local lead partner who must be a Filipino nationality unless it is shown by clear proof that the other partners to the joint venture have infused capital investment to support the operation of the local lead partner to ensure compliance with obligations under the contracts in this project, in which case the NFCC of the foreign joint venture or minority partner of the joint venture shall be computed. For this purpose, the local lead partner shall be that person, organization, company identified in the joint venture agreement or in the letter of intents for potential JV partners shown to have the controlling stakes in the JV. For easier reference, participating JVs or prospective JV partners must be indicate in their JVs or letter of intent that the local lead partner appointed by them. For ITB Clause 20.1, within a non-extendable period of 5 calendar days from the receipt by the bidder of the notice from the bank that it submitted the LCB, the bidder shall submit the following requirements. First is that the latest income and business tax returns, printed copies for the electronically filled income tax and business tax returns with the copies of the respective payment confirmation forms for the immediately preceding calendar or tax year from the authorized agent bank. Only tax returns filed in the taxes paid through the BIR electronic filing and payment system or EFPS shall be accepted. Note that the latest income tax and business tax returns are those within the last 6 months preceding the date of the bid submission. And letter B, a certification from the brand and the product manufacturer shall be provided, confirming that the proposed brand and the product parts will be available and serviceable for at least 3 years of delivery and acceptance of the goods. ITB Clause 20.1, during the post-qualification, upon demand by the bank or its representative, a bidder with the lowest calculated bid shall be able to present or submit the following documents to verify or support its statement of ongoing and or statement identifying its single largest completed contract, which may consist of the following: appropriate and clear duly signed contracts, purchase orders, agreements, notices of awards, job orders, or notices to proceed with the corresponding duly signed certificate of completion, delivery receipts, inspection and acceptance reports, certificates of final acceptance or official receipts. Letter B, for validation purposes, original copy Class A eligibility documents. During post-qualification, compliance of the goods offered with the requirements specified in the bidding documents shall be determined, including the following. As per Section 34.3, Item A of the IRR of RA 9184, verification of availability and commitment, and or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned, leased, or under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding, as well as the checking that performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these ongoing contracts shows negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or negative slippage of at least 10% in each 2 or more contracts. As per Section 34.3, Item A to C, copy C of the IRR of RA 9184, verification and or inspection and testing of the goods, product, after sales and or maintenance capabilities in applicable cases, as well as checking the following: delay in the partial delivery of goods amounting to 10% of the contract price in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these contracts shown shows the bidder's failure to deliver or perform any or all of the goods or services within the period specified in the contract or within any extension thereof granted by the procuring entity pursuant to requests made by the supplier prior to the delay, and such failure amounts to at least 10% of the contract price, or unsatisfactory performance of the supplier's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. If the back verifies any of this deficiency to be due to the bidder's fault or negligence, the back shall disqualify the bidder from the award. For the procurement of goods, in case of the foreign bidders, a certificate of authentication from the Department of Foreign Affairs shall be required for each document submitted. This is the Class A documents or its equivalent that are written in the foreign language, translated to English, and duly authenticated by the appropriate Philippine Foreign Service establishment or post or equivalent office having jurisdiction over the foreign bidders' affairs in the Philippines. To facilitate post-qualification, the bidder at its option may submit in advance on the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids, above requirements and other documents required in Section 2 ITB 20.2. The envelope shall be placed in a brown envelope and marked ITB 20.2 documents, name of project, bid opening date, name of a bidder. Failure to submit above requirements within the required time frame or finding against the veracity of any such documents or other documents submitted for the project shall be a ground for disqualification of the bidder for the award and the enforcement of the bid securing declaration. As part of the bidding documents, special conditions of the contract or for the GCC Clause 1, delivery and documents, for the purpose of the contract, EXW, FOB, FCA, CIF, CIP, DDP, and other trade terms used to describe the obligations of the parties shall have the meanings assigned to them by the current edition of Incoterms published by the International Chamber of Commerce, Paris. The delivery terms of this contract shall be as follows. The delivery terms applicable under the contract shall be DDP or duties delivered paid in accordance with the Incoterms. Risks and titles and to the goods shall be passed from the suppliers or service provider to DepEd upon receipt of the final acceptance of the goods at the designated delivery site, DepEd Central Office. The services to be rendered and goods to be delivered by the supplier or service provider must be in accordance with the technical specifications, terms of reference, and other requirements indicated in the bidding documents and or as may be reasonable deemed necessary to effect the full and timely completion of the required services and the delivery of goods. For the purpose of this clause, the representative of the Department of Education at delivery site shall be the ICTS through DepEd Central Office Engineer Marvin M. De La Cruz for the end user unit and Mr. Albert Alano for the inspectorate team. Upon delivery of the goods to the delivery site, the supplier service provider shall notify DepEd and present the following documents. First, original and 4 copies of the supplier's service provider's invoice showing goods description, quantity, unit price, and total amount. Second, original and 4 copies of the supplier's service provider's warranty certificate where applicable. And last, original white copy and scanned copies stored in CD or DVD or flash drive of the pre-numbered inspection and acceptance report or IAR and delivery receipt or DR detailing the number and description of the goods received and duly signed and dated by ARP. In case the supplier service provider encounters conditions impeding timely completion of the required services and delivery of goods, it must promptly notify DepEd in writing within 5 calendar days from the notice of such condition, and any request for work suspension and or contract period extension shall be promptly done in writing as soon as circumstances for such requests have become apparent. The supplier or service provider must provide sufficient proof to support any request for work suspension and or contract period extension. For incidental services, the contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to the other parties. The supplier is required to provide the following services, including additional services if any. First, we have performance or supervision of on-site assembly and or start-up of the supplied goods. Second, furnishing of tools required for assembly and or maintenance of the supplied goods. Third, furnishing of a detailed operations and maintenance manual for each appropriate unit of the supplied goods. Fourth, performance or supervision or maintenance and or repair of the supplied goods for a period of time agreed by the parties, provided that the service shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligation. And last, training of DepEd personnel at the supplier's service provider's plant and or on-site in assembly, startup, operation, maintenance, and or repair of the supplied goods. For our packaging, the supplier service provider shall provide such packaging as is required to prevent their damage or deterioration during transit to their final destination as indicated in this contract. The packaging shall be sufficient to withstand, without limitation, rough handling during transit and exposure to extreme temperatures, salt and precipitation during transit, and open storage. Packaging case size and weights shall take into consideration, where appropriate, the remoteness of the goods' final destination and the absence of heavy handling facilities at all points in transit. For the insurance, the goods under the contract shall be fully insured by the supplier or service provider in a freely convertible currency against loss or damage incidental to manufacture or acquisition, transportation, storage, and delivery. The goods remain at the risk and the title of the supplier or service provider until their final acceptance by DepEd. For transportation, transport of goods shall be arranged by the supplier or service provider, and related costs shall be included in the contract price. DepEd accepts no liability for the damage of goods during transit. Risk and title to the goods will not be deemed to have passed to DepEd until its receipt and final acceptance at the final destination through its authorized receiving personnel. For intellectual property rights, the supplier service provider shall indemnify DepEd against all third parties' claims of infringement of patent, trademark, or industrial design rights arising from the use of the goods or any part thereof. For GCC Clause 2.2, schedule of payment, the method and condition of payment to be made to the supplier or service provider through the government disbursement procedure within 60 days after the date of acceptance of services and goods at the project site and upon submission of the documents under this contract shall be as follows. For advance payment, an advance payment not to exceed 15% of the contract amount shall be allowed and paid within 60 calendar days from the signing of the contract. An irrevocable letter of a credit or bank guarantee of an equivalent amount must be submitted and shall remain valid until the goods are delivered and accompanied by a claim for advance payment. The supplier or service provider may submit a request for payment based on the progress reports, which shall be attached to the progress billing and include the following. First, we have actual value of services rendered and quantity of goods delivered based on the schedule of delivery and relevant terms and conditions of the contract. Second, statement of account. Third, duly signed delivery receipts. Fourth, duly signed inspection and acceptance reports, including certification by supplier or service provider as approved by the duly authorized DepEd representative that the required services have been rendered and the goods have been delivered and or properly installed and commissioned in accordance with the contract. Fifth, approved commissioning and testing reports as applicable. Six, approved engineering design as applicable. And last, certificate of acceptance for the conduct of training, including the training manual and science attendance sheet as applicable. Other documents in support of a request for payment may be required by DepEd pursuant to existing disbursement, accounting, and auditing rules and procedures. For the progress payment shall be paid to the supplier or service provider in accordance with the following schedule. For the first, we have
Excuse me,
30
Secretariat. Are we offering snacks to the visitors today?
only lunch po, Madam Chair.
Only lunch, wala naman tayong lunch session hanggang 11 o'clock lang tayo Oh. Anyway, sige. Ito na nga, intermittent pre-bid conference na naman to sige.
So, to continue po, first schedule requirements po natin is for this first, we have 30% within 60 calendar days upon receipt of the NTP. Then for the second, 45% within 80 calendar days upon receipt of NTP. Then third is 15% within 90 calendar days upon receipt of NTP. Fourth, 10% within 100 calendar days upon receipt of NTP. For the final payment shall be consist of the full and final payment of the unpaid, inspected, and accepted
Secretariat, excuse
goods.
me again. How many more slides before we reach the technical specifications?
Madam Chair, after this slides po siguro mga 5 pa po na slides.
I understand that all this that we are showing on screen are contained in the bid documents. And all those who are present today, I assume or we presume that you are here today because you have read the published bid documents already. Is that presumption correct? So if we go directly to, because we have already discussed with you the technical and financial requirements, documentary requirements, is it okay with you if we proceed with the technical specifications of the project and we will just say that you must have read all of these special conditions in the bid docs when you open the publications? May we hear a confirmation from those who are in front of the microphones or the representatives of those who are present here?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes po.
So is that a unanimous agreement for all of those present here? Okay, Secretariat, please take note of that. And can we have someone check our sound system? Parang namamaos ako, namamaos lahat. Bakit ganun? Parang namamaos yung audio namin. Or masyado lang kaming malapit, ganyan lang? Ha?
Sound check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Also, Secretariat, can we now proceed to the technical specifications? So, I presume na yun yung gusto talagang makita ng ating mga prospective bidders, so they can have more time for clarifications later on the technical specifications. Thank you.
Noted po, Madam Chair.
Madam Minute Taker, yung agreement na yan, nandyan ba sa ano mo ha? Sige.
Okay, proceed po tayo sa technical specifications. Run-through ko na lang din po yung other slides na hindi na po natin madidiscuss or So for the technical specifications, bidder must state here either comply or not comply against each of the individual parameters of each specification, stating the corresponding performance parameter for the equipment offered. Statements of comply or not comply must be supported by evidence in a bidder's bid and cross-reference that evidence. Evidence shall be in the form of manufacturer's unamended sales literature, unconditional statements of specification and compliance issued by the manufacturer, samples, independent test data, etc., as appropriate. A statement that is not supported by evidence or is subsequently found to be contradicted by the evidence presented will render the bid under evaluation liable for rejection. A statement either in the bidder's statement of compliance or the supporting evidence that is found to be false either during bid evaluation, post-qualification, or execution of the contract may be regarded as fraudulent and render the bidder or supplier liable for the prosecution subject to the applicable laws and issuances. So we have here the general specifications of these technical specifications for this project.
Secretariat, ano na nangyayari?
Ito po yung
pinapabasa
sa,
mo? Pinapabasa natin sa kanila. Okay. Ayan. Dapat may background music man tayo. Ang tatahimik ng room. Kala ko may nangyayaring iba. Sige.
Ang liit.
Nababasa ba?
At saka nababasa ba nila yung pagkaliit-liit?
Pero may kopya naman yan.
May kopya man kayo, di ba? They have a copy. Okay. May pa-background music man kayo dapat pag ganyan.
Then for the checklist of technical and financial documents, showing in the screen is the Class A documents. First, we have legal documents, technical documents, financial documents, and for the Class B documents, other documentary requirements under RA number 9184 as applicable, financial component envelope. The bidder must carefully read the full description of the above requirements and submit the said requirements as specified. The bidders are required to provide a table of contents and corresponding label for each submitted technical and financial component document to ensure that the submitted requirements are complete and facilitate easier examination and or evaluation of the documents by the BAC. No contact rule, section 32.1 of the IRR of RA 9184. Members of the BAC, including its staff and personnel as well as its secretariat and TWG, are prohibited from making or accepting any communication with any bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the BAC, through its secretariat, may ask in writing the bidder for a clarification of its bid. All responses to requests for clarification shall be in writing. For the deadline and for the deadline for submission and opening of bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat on or before August 22, 2023, 8:30 a.m. For the bid opening same day, August 22, 2023, 9 a.m. For the venue, Bulwagan ng Karunungan, ground floor, Rizal Building, DepEd Complex, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City. Please take note that late bids shall not be accepted. For the deadline for submission and opening of bids, deadline for the letter of clarifications as until August 11, 2023 at 3 p.m. and emailed it to deped.central.backsecretariat@deped.gov.ph. And please take note that please use your official business email in sending your queries and or clarifications. That would be all po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. Now we are opening the floor for queries and clarifications from our visitors today. You may approach the microphone, state your name and the company you are representing for proper recording by our minute taker. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Joanna Puzon from SMS Global Technologies. I have a clarification for item number 5.0 IP telephony system. Our clarification is 5.0. Yeah, IP telephony system. It seems that it doesn't have a PoE switch. Our question is, will this system still have its own independent network or it will share the same network with AP and CCTVs? Yes.
Yeah, according to the TWG, it's shared network.
Shared. Thank you.
Any questions po from our prospective bidders? You may approach the mic.
Hello, good morning. This is Andrian from NetPol in Philippines. So, in item 2.1 and 2.2, so under networking components, my question is, may we know the purpose or the use case for the built-in RFID for the core switches and the distribution switches as well?
End user?
Sir, good morning. For the RFID po is for the added security po ng mga switches natin and distribution switches.
I have another question regarding item 2.3. it says that you are requiring a PoE switch with multi-gig ports up to 10G. However, in the access points, you are requiring to have a 1/2.5/5G of interfaces. So I assume that these wireless access points will be connected to the PoE switches. So my question is, why do we need a 10G port for the AP?
And you, sir?
Again, sir, good morning. That would be for the Wi-Fi, since our requirement for the access point is an 802.11ax AP, so that we can purely utilize its throughput po. So we indicated a 10G multi-gig switch.
Okay, sir. Thanks for the answer. Another question would be on the, I believe, item 2.4. So 2.4, 2.5, because there is a requirement that the access point shall support containers to host applications. So what will be the use case of this?
Yes? What was that again?
Sir, again, for ano po yan, for future functionality, for future provision for the use case po ng containers natin. That would be, as to why we indicated a containers po dun sa 2.5 provision. Tama po ba yung questions natin?
Yes, sir. But containers hosting applications within the wireless access points, is that correct?
Yes po.
Follow-up question, sir. Do you have any servers or the likes wherein you will be hosting Dockers, Kubernetes for the container solution?
As of now, sir, wala pa po, pero yun nga po, for future use case po, indicate na rin namin yung provision na yun. Kasi nauuso namin na ng Dockers and Kubernetes din po mga containers.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thanks for the answer, sir.
Question again from Johanna Puson, SMS Global. Under 6.1, double online conversion UPS IDF. Our clarification is this a rack type or tower type UPS?
As far as I am concerned po, it is a rack type po. I mean, kasama din po kasi yan supposed to be dun sa mga IDF frames natin.
Okay, sir. Another question, sir, is for 7.1.2 power amplifier. Clarification, is 50V required? Newer PA models do not have 50 volts. Also, it says that only 70 volts and 100 volts will be used for the speakers. The line transformer shall accept 100 volts and 7.7 volts input with taps for 100 volts lines.
Ma'am, may you repeat the question po?
50 volts po ba required siya or pwede po na
Mag-go beyond? Yes po, mas advantageous naman po yun if in the event na mas magpa-power up tayo into 100 volts into 50 volts. Again, ma'am, for that question, ma'am, maybe you can put that into writing so that we can review then for
Okay,
that
sir.
provision.
Yeah, can you read that specific specification, Secretariat? Yung tinatanong.
For the 7.1.2, the power amplifier, 6 units, it is module type with one channel of Class D digital power amplifier with contribute to energy saving and lightweight design. Built-in top priority is automatically assigned to emergency broadcast at all times. For general announcements made using input 1 to 3 BGM is automatically muted during the announcement. Broadcast priorities can be set for each input in addition to the standard chimes.
Secretariat, yung part na may question siya, yung 50 something, 50 volts, mga ganun. Asan dyan?
Dun po sa under ng power amplifier 150, 300, and 500. The amplifier shall be capable of operation from 20 to 40 V DC. The amplifier shall come with channel power indicator. Frequency response shall be 40 to 16 kHz. The amplifier shall be operating within a temperature range from negative 5 degree to plus 45 degree. The front panel's finish and material shall be surface treated steel plate, black in color, 30% gloss paint, output voltage selectable 50 volts, 70 volts, and 100 volts.
Okay, so yun, end user. Those are minimum, right?
Ma'am, tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko doon sa question? You're saying na you're offering at least a 100 but it shall not be a selectable for 50, 70 to 100? Okay. Sige ma'am, we will take that into consideration po ma'am.
Sigurado kayo nagkaintindihan kayo doon sa tanong, ha?
All right. Again, I'm Rosanna from PLDT. My question is regarding the 5.1B, unlimited SIP trunk accounts. Do we need to provide a SIP trunk service here, or do you have an existing SIP trunk service?
C end user.
Yes po ma'am.
We need to provide
Yes, po.
SIP trunk service.
Yes po.
Okay. It says here unlimited SIP trunks. So, what do you mean by unlimited? There is really no specific number of SIP trunks that we need to provide, or the number of sessions that we need to provide, because we cannot put appropriate pricing if there is no specific number of SIP trunks.
Okay ma'am, i-preview na lang po namin and we'll make a necessary bid bulletin for that
Okay.
portion.
Thank you, sir.
Hello po, good morning. I'm Diana from SMS Global Technologies po. My question is regarding po sa bid data sheet 20.1. Page 22 of 139 of bidding documents, there is provision under IRR RA 9184 post-qualification 34.3.B technical requirements. May we be clarify if this will be applied to the procurement at hand, because our understanding is that those provisions are applicable to the procurement of infrastructure projects. Those, yeah.
Take note. Okay, the question here, sino sasagot? End user ba or TWG? Or secretariat? Ma'am, sorry. Hi.
Yes.
Ma'am, pwede mo paulit ng
Okay.
question?
My question is, this provision po ba is applicable to this type of procurement? Because our understanding is that those provisions are applicable to the procurement of infrastructure projects. It means, di ba po, pag nasa bid data sheet siya, it should be part of this project po ba, yung process ng post-qual?
We'll have our secretariat answer for that, James, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, ma'am, this is a requirement for goods. We will look into it, ma'am, if the end user will be requiring certain equipment to be checked during post-qualification. If they are requiring certain equipment, then this will be applicable to the project. We will be including this in the bid bulletin that we will be issuing. Thank you po.
Hi, again, I'm Rosana from PLDT. Another question is with regards to page 42, item 1, the prospective bidder shall be involved in system integration and shall have at least 10 years experience under similar project. We would like to ask if we can also include telecommunications provider as prospective bidder for this project because this requires SIP trunks.
We will take that into consideration, but we have if you look at your SLCC, it's not an official declaration until we have issued the bid bulletin. Pero yung SLCC kasi natin that will define the similar projects
Yep.
na engage yung prospective supplier.
Yes.
So
Yes,
if you are a
Madam Chair.
telecommunications supplier, but you have an SLCC that is covered by the definition here, then I don't think there's going to be a limitation to that.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
But we will consider that, and you put that into writing as
Yes.
usual, and then we will reply in the form of a letter, or if it requires a modification in the documents, then we'll come up with an appropriate bid bulletin. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
This is Hazel from Pronet Systems. With regards to 2.6 guest and BYOD management, may we know it for how many users?
If I am not mistaken, ma'am, under the requirement, it will be handling 2,500 nodes. I'll review it, ma'am, dun sa requirement, pero I think that was included in the requirement.
Yes, good morning from Multifold Links Inc., Penelope Cecilio. Magtatanong lang po ako regarding dun sa general rate specification, which is yung sa CDCP, which may pwede po kayong mag-request for equivalent lang po doon na CDCS dun sa CDCP if ever po. Yung number 4, I'm number 3 of the general specification.
Number 4, Secretariat.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Sorry po.
Yeah, may you repeat that? CDCP or kung pwedeng
CDCS.
ano naman yung CDCS?
Yung Certified Data Center Specialist. Mas mataas po siya dun sa CDCP. Equivalent po siya.
Minimum naman tayo dyan. So kahit pa magbigay ka ng certificate,
Okay.
Certified Data Center Expert
Okay.
or whatever, ang tinitilan natin dyan is the expertise of the person,
Yes.
not the title. No?
Okay.
So, but again, you can put that into writing.
Noted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions po?
Yeah. Hi, Rosanna again from PLDT. We have a question regarding page 44, number 10. Solution providers should have a PCAB license for communication facilities. Is there a possibility that we remove that requirement because as mentioned, this requires a SIPTRAC license, and most likely most likely telecommunications provider will also join, but they do not have that PCAB license as a telecommunications provider.
End user.
Ma'am, can you ano na lang po, put that into writing so that again our team will review it and take that into but we take that into consideration. No?
Thank you, sir.
Is for contractors, no?
Yes po. Opo.
Yeah, for construction. Yeah, for construction.
Sige, put that into writing and we'll consider.
Yeah, thank
we'll
you, Madam
discuss
Chair.
that with the back members and the TWG. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, sorry, idagdag ko na rin yung question regarding subcontracting. No, I believe that majority of the prospective bidders will have to one way or another subcontract some of the items here because of the complexity of the requirements. So, is there also a possibility of removing that requirement?
Where is the requirement?
The no subcontracting requirement. Yeah, yung unang-unang part.
9184 kasi hindi pwedeng subcontracting.
That is a
Non-negotiable yata ito because it's contained in the 9184. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Please do remember that you are contracting with the government.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that's favorable to the government is what should be placed there, no? Hindi pwedeng favorable to the contractor.
We understand,
Yes.
sir. Thank you po.
And there are things like those provisions of laws that we cannot set aside. Okay, mandatories, right?
Noted, sir. Thank you.
Any questions?
May we have some more questions from the left side naman? Puro right side yung nagko-question.
Do you want microphone?
Wala ba makakaliwa? Nasa left? Baka naman malinaw lahat doon sa bid docs na kuha yung kopya. So we have, di kasi tayo nagpamerienda, wala silang lakas na magtanong ng questions. Any more questions from our visitors? Yes, meron. Please approach the microphone.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Liz Sotomayor from SMSGT. Our question pertains to the IPPA system. Item number 7.1.2, power amplifier. Yeah. Can we offer? It says here that there will be 3 different output, which is 150 watts, 300, and 500 watts. Can we offer a power amplifier which is configurable? Yes, ma'am. We can actually we can offer, for example, it has 800 watts, and we can configure that one and assign certain watts for each areas.
And you, sir?
Ma'am, as long as it is fitted naman into the requirement, we will take that into consideration din po, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Kasi ang sinasabi niyo po, ma'am, is ano siya, selectable.
Yeah, configurable.
Configurable.
Yes, sir.
As long
It
as it
means-
can handle 150, 800.
Yes, sir. Actually, it's more than, and we can actually configure the 800 watts into different power amplifiers.
Okay po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Do we have some more clarifications, questions from our visitors?
Last na lang po. If ever, Madam Chair, we would like to request for an extension in bid submission, but we'll just put it in writing also. If we can request for an extension in the bid submission.
Bid submission? Hindi.
Oh, okay.
Kasi this is a project that we need to procure.
Okay. There's a time.
Within the year, we have a timeline to follow, and kung aabot nga yan, we have to pay the supplier within the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted,
So
Madam
kung gusto
Chair.
nyo mas madali kayong mabayaran, huwag kayong magpa-extend ng bidding schedule.
Alright.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Unless, of course, for unavoidable circumstances that we will not be able to issue the appropriate bid bulletin on time, then that would be a possible postponement. But for as long as we beat our timelines for the issuance of such, then we will not postpone the bidding.
Noted, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and yes.
Another clarification, sir. Madam Chair, I'd like to clarify kung ano po yung ibig sabihin ng dito sa item 7.1.1 system frame, yung maximum of 40 units of system frame shall have the provision to accept up to 440.
7.1.1.
Yes.
The maximum of 40 units of system frame shall have the provision to accept up to 440 control inputs from the fire detection system end user.
Ma'am, which portion dyan, ma'am? Yung parang hindi malinis. Mas malaki. Ano lang po, 40 unit system.
Opo, clarify ko lang kung hanggang ganyan po talaga kadami po ba yung pinaka-requirement nila. Okay.
Minimum po siya is 40.
Maximum of 40 units.
Maximum.
Maximum po siya is 40.
Yun ba yung tanong niya, maximum or minimum?
Opo.
Maximum.
Okay.
Feeling ko maximum yan.
Yes po.
Unless it's wrong spelling.
And also po, Madam Chair, sir, tanong ko lang din yung if the DepEd or the proponent is willing to accept. Kasi there are different types of PA system na different brands, iba-iba yung atake nila. For example, what we would like to offer sana with DepEd is yung may built-in na yung system frame niya. Built-in yung system frame. This one kasi, yung nasa, ano niyo po sana? Modular po, which is may system frame pa po, which pertains po kasi sa isang brand po.
Depende sa proposal. Ma'am, maybe you could put that into writing so that we can review that provision.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, now the question is that maximum or minimum?
Ano po kasi ni Madam is nag-offer siya ng options. So, on behalf of the DepEd, nireview po namin minimum na end user. As long as pasok po yung need ng end user na minimum, wala po problem. So, si end user po ang
Okay, let me just be clear. The 40 units of system frame, the purpose of this is, ang capacity niya is to accept 440 control inputs, blah, 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 yung mga ganyan. And then, so if they are offering a built-in unit that can do these things, then it may be fine. Oh. Okay, sulat. Isulat natin. Then we will give the reply.
Hello, ma'am, from ProNet Systems. Ma'am, Hello, ma'am, from ProNet Systems. May we know po when is the schedule of site survey? Survey po for the fiber and
Site survey dito sa central office.
yes.
Secretariat, did we schedule an ocular inspection of the area where the project is going to be implemented? dito sa central office. Kasi parang ano yan, Rizal, ilang buildings, di ba? That's a fair question. If we can schedule now, pwede ba ngayon? Na before you go ay mag-ikot na kayo? Yeah, you can do that, and then the end user will be accompanying you to go around. Please coordinate with our security para baka mamaya kung ano-ano yan. So, meron tayong tour guide. Your tour guide will be the end user, so wag lang aalis sa linya ng ating tour guide, baka ma-intercept kayo somewhere. Ha?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, particularly if the VP is in the complex, the security is very tight. So kung ano lang yung direction talaga nung end user for the ocular, then please follow. Thank you.
Any questions po from prospective bidders?
Madam Chair, another question. This pertains to 7.1.3, the remote extension, remote microphone extension, 14 units. I would like to clarify kung ito po ba yung sinasabi na 14 na magkakatabing ganun or zones. Pwede po bang ma-mention din kung ilang zones ba talaga yung need ng end user?
End user muna.
Ma'am, as for the zoning po, nag-feedback po kasi, ayaw na off na. We could issue po yung proper zoning dun sa design kasi parang wala rin pong naka-indicate dun sa mismong submission. So that we can fully grasp po yung ano. And at the same time naman po, pag nag-ocular tayo, we could discuss about it. Pero you can put that into writing, ma'am, and we shall issue po nung mga proper, yung zoning po pagdating sa PA namin.
Thank you. Do we have other questions? Going once? Twice? Yes.
Hi, ma'am. Pahabol po. Ma'am, may we request for copy of floor plans po? Floor plans and single line diagram.
Floor plan, end user. Nasa bid docs ba yung floor plan natin?
Madam Chair, if I may, kasi we cannot give muna, although we do have the schematic diagram already, but we can, for security purposes, kasi makikita yung buong layout, and since our secretary is also the vice president, so for security reasons, hindi muna namin nilalabas. But we do have the floor plan, even the corresponding diagrams.
How about po yung kahit single line diagram po? Pwede po ba?
Yes po, ma'am. Ma'am, pag nag-ocular tayo, we could give that as well. Pero hindi po talaga namin sa inyo i-hand out mismo yung mismong floor plan. Pero yung single diagram, we can do that.
Thank you po.
Yeah, okay. When you go around, bawal din po ang parang vlogger na nag-aano habang nag-ocular doon sa site, on-site inspection, no? Para just to be clear. Going once, twice, 2.5. Wala na talaga. Okay, so since there are no more questions, may we just give them, Secretariat, the reminders of the dates to remember regarding this procurement. Starting with the submission of clarifications until the bidding.
Yes po, Madam Chair. For the bids must be duly received by the Back Secretariat on or before August 22, 2023. Ay.
Deadline.
Ano ba yun?
Yun munang submission of clarificatory letters.
Pakit to.
14 yata. Ay, 9. 16.
Yes po, for the deadline for letter of clarification po will be until August 11, 2023, 3 p.m. and email to deped.backsecretariat@deped.gov.ph. And please use your official business email in sending your queries and or clarifications.
Okay, please remember the dates, August 11 for the deadline of letter clarification at 3 p.m. And then our open deadline of submission of bids will be August 22 at 8:30 a.m. And then our bid opening will be August 22 at 9 a.m. at the Bulwagan ng Karunungan, that is at the ground floor of the main building, that is the Rizal building. So take note, late bids shall not be accepted. So if there are no more questions, may we hear a motion for adjournment? We have lunch pala. Oo. Kasya ba yan? Hindi. Sorry. Hindi, kasi magtutour pala sila. So may we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
Okay, so we are now adjourning the pre-bid conference for this project on network rehabilitation at the central office. Thank you so much, everyone. Backsec, please, you are instructed. The minutes, Joshua, chichikahan pa kayo dyan. Instructions ko na ito dun sa nag-take ng minutes. Please, ayusin mo na yung minutes and provide each member of the back a copy of that minutes not more than 3 days from now. Okay, not more than 3 days from now. Same instructions dun sa ating mga earlier, no? Yung kung hindi nyo pa na-transcribe, please provide the Secretariat the e-copy of the recordings so we can have our staff transcribe them earlier too.
Noted po, Madam Chair.
Thank you. But for this particular minutes, no, not more than 3 days. Thank you. Those who are interested to go around, Marvin, right? Shan and the TWG can just please lead our interested visitors to go for on-site. Strictly follow yung protocols ng security natin. Thank you.
Backsec, samahan nyo rin.
Representative from the backsec, pwedeng ano din.
Yes po. Then, meron po tayo ulit na 1 p.m.
Yeah, backsec we have 1 p.m. biometrics and then we have 3 p.m. CCTV.
Madam Chair.
Same venue din po.
Ma'am, pwede po mag-request. Since masyado kasi marami, pwede po one
at a time?
Prospective bidder na lang pong sumama sa amin.
One representative from each company.
Opo. From each company. Opo.
Okay. Sige. Kayo rin, nandito, meron bang magpa-participate din sa inyo ng 1 p.m. tsaka 3 p.m.? Baka kayo rin? Hindi. Hindi. Baka may mga ibang. Okay, one rep per prospective bidder to join the TWG, the end user, and secretariat to go for site inspection. Thank you.
Okay.
Pag wala,
Nalow blood ako.
Si Upa. Maganda wala dito tayo nung last time. Deliver lang din naman ito.
Sila yata yan.
Patindas ako sir ng SKS ko. Si Jelly ko na sumama. DepEd yung ikot nila. Yung DepEd. Tama na ako mag-ikot dito.
Ano sawa doon?
Ako sir, kasama. PAC na